Bob Busari here for the Electronic Funds Transfer Association. And I'm here with Kurt Helwig, the President and CEO of the association. You've got a new conference coming up in September.
Yes, we do.
And the conference would be?
It's the ATM Mobile Executive Summit.
And ATM and Mobile Executive Summit. I get executive and summit. ATMs and mobile, old school, new school, kind of a contradiction there?
No, I don't think so. I think they're complementary. I think we're really looking at the convergence of these two technologies, of kind of an established technology with this, emerging and fast-growing technology that is mobile payments.
And who are some of the speakers you're going to have?
We have Wayne Malone. He's the CEO of CityShare. Lynn Barr, one of the really the foremost attorneys in the electronic payment space, renowned attorney in that space. John Carlson, who's the Executive Vice President for the Financial Services Roundtable. So it's a very senior level group, and we're hoping to expect to attract a very senior level audience.
What are you trying to accomplish in this in this conference?
Well, again, I think we've got convergence, and how and why this is happening, how this is happening. We see that the demand for cash continues to rise, and as does the demand for mobile financial services. And but one of the things that sets us apart is because we're going to be in D.C., we really plan to capitalize on the legislative and probably more specifically regulatory community there.
Are the regulatory issues that face, say, ATM owners and operators the same as those that face people with mobile commerce companies and mobile commerce schemes?
I think in some ways, as we look at, and again, we look at this convergence. I'm going to probably keep coming to that theme of convergence. There are two different schools of thought out there, I believe, with regard to that. And that one is that the current regulatory structure, is largely sufficient to deal with even mobile payments, maybe with some tweaks here and there. And there's another school of thought who thinks, well, because it's so unknown, because it's happening so quickly, maybe it's not. Maybe there's not an effective regulatory scheme in place right now to kind of exert jurisdiction over all these things.
Now, the question I always have to ask at this point is, who do you expect to attend this? And if it's the executive summit, I'm going to guess you're looking for a kind of a top tier.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier. I think we want to keep this small. I think it's small by design. I think that's something else that we hope to accomplish, because we want it to be interactive, and we want to attract we want to attract a senior level audience. So I'd say senior execs from financial institutions, payment service providers, ATM manufacturers, ATM companies, deployers, that kind of things, networks. And I think we'd probably see a fair contingent of compliance types there too, because of things like our executive agency panel.
When they leave the conference, what do you expect them to take with them?
Well, I hope they walk away with a better understanding of the convergence to which I keep referring, the convergence of these two technologies, and the challenge that the regulators may be facing in regulating this space. Is it if something the Fed is liable to say, look, this is a payment, so the typical Fed rules that apply to any kind of electronic payment should apply. The FCC might say, well, yes, it's a payment, but it's going over the wires, and we have jurisdiction over what goes over the wires. So it opens up a host of questions then. What do you do in case of chargeback? I mean, there are things like, things along those lines that I think are as yet unanswered.
Well, it kind of mirrors the unsettled landscape in Congress, doesn't it?
Yeah, very much so. In fact, we've invited some members of Congress to participate, and we're waiting to hear back from them.
Okay, so the ATM and Mobile Executive Summit, September 25th and 26th in Washington, D.C.
Right.
Okay, Kurt Helwig, thank you.
Thank you, Bob.